having our panel 5. So this will be the last panel of day and even of the event. So the topic of this panel is role of medical institute in promoting e-learning, research and development, and clinic trials during and post pandemic. And I would like to invite our eminent panel speakers for this panel, Professor Mrs. Rajita Kulkarni, President Shri Shri University, Cuttack, Colonel Dr. Sunil Rao, Chief Executive Officer, Gujarat Cancer Society, Dr. Salihankarji, Vice Chancellor, D.Y. Patil University, MB, Dr. B. Sendil, Dean and Director, Health Sciences Vinayaka Mission Research Foundation, deemed to be University Salem, and he is also the Head Transformation VIMS Hospital Private Limited, Vinayaka Mission Research Foundation. Dr. Vijay Pandya, CEO, CU Shah Medical College, Surendranagar, Gujarat, and Chandra sir, CEO and founder editor, ArdorComm Media, who will be the session moderator. We welcome you also. Thank you.
Thank you, Etisha, for that wonderful introduction. I'm in fact very blessed and honored to be a moderator of such an eminent speakers of this panel. I've been moderating them in one or two events many a times. The interaction has been quite well, and happy to see them again. So I start with a small saying that every human being is the author of his own health or disease. Disease is the result of disobedience to the immutable laws of health that governs life. In this passage, Gautam Buddha is talking about the role of karma in health. And to do the justice and to bring the blend of education and the healthcare, this is a wonderful session where we have the eminent speakers representing the academia section of the healthcare, wellness, and pharma industry. So the topic says that the role of medical and healthcare and wellness institutions in promoting e-learning, research and development and trials during the post-pandemic. Let me first of all introduce the panel speakers with their, a very strong portfolio or the profile which they have. I would like to introduce Ms. Rajita Kulkarni ji first, who is the president of Shri Shri University, ma'am. Can you please flash the profile? You have been doing some wonderful tasks, ma'am, under your leadership. And the way I see you and follow you, you have been sharing so much of important information at the Art of Living and your volunteers who have been working tirelessly for the past many weeks, sheltering refugees and shuttling them down to the safety, providing shelters, medicine, food is really commendable, ma'am. And this kind of work definitely needs a lot of effort, lot of energy, and a leader like you. So apart from being an academician, ma'am, you are a successful banker. You are turned into educator, a best-selling author. Thank you for sending that book to me, ma'am. I have read that book. That is wonderful, and definitely it is a life-changing book. One should definitely go through the book which you have authored. A global thought leader and transformational leadership coach. She is currently holding various prestigious positions, like she is the president of World Forum of Ethics and Business, president of Shri Shri Ravi, Shri Shri University, member of Court of AI Institute of Science, and a trustee of Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Vidya Mandir Trust, global board members of TLEX Institute, board member of AOL Health and Education Trust, FICCI, and so many institutions, ma'am. You have trained over 1 lakh people in last 3 decades and over 1 million hours of training and development expertise. She's trained and coached leaders from more than 50 countries. She has addressed over 5,000 public events, including at prestigious forums like United Nations, World Bank, European Parliament, FIFA, and many more. The largest audience she has addressed was over 3.75 million people. So under her leadership, Shri Shri University has emerged as a global center of learning and ranked number 6 in the top 25 private universities in India. Congratulations for that achievement, ma'am. So with this, we are, and so many allocates and award you have received, Kitty, ma'am. It is a pleasure, and we are honored to have you in this forum. Thank you, ma'am. with this now, I would like to introduce our next speaker is the Colonel Dr. Sunil Kumar Rao. He's the Chief Executive Officer from Gujarat Cancer Society. He's a highly experienced hospital administrator, adept at managing P&L, doctor engagement, new hospital commissioning, expert in hospital construction, as per NABH and JCI, operations management, quality and accreditations, NABH and JCI. You have a rich 25 years of experience as hospital administrator in hospitals of Armed Force India, sir, and now you are a proud retired colonel, sir. I welcome you in this forum. It is honor to have you over here, sir.
Thank you very much.
I would now like to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Salihankarji. She is the Vice Chancellor of one of the prestigious universities of Pune from Ambi campus. She has worked as a Dean Academics, Dean Management at MIT World Peace University, has worked as a director for 2 flagship institutes of Mayer's MIT Group of Institutions and MIT School of Management and MIT College of Management. And you have a rich 14 years of experience into this institution. She is a national president and National Council for Higher Education of India at Women Chambers of Commerce and Industry, New Delhi. Dr. Gankar is honorary member of National Advisory Council of SME Chambers of India, Mumbai. She also has worked as a chairman and member of various committees namely Board of Studies and Advisory Board of National University and industry level, such as National Institute of Banking and Management, Savitri Bai Phule Pune University, Symbiosis International University, J.K. Lakshmipat University. She has worked with MCCIA as the chairperson for Women Entrepreneur Committee. She has received many scholarships and awards. So it is an honor, and we are so happy to have you, Sally ma'am, in this forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Our next speaker is Dr. B. Sendil Kumar. It is always a pleasure, Sendil sir, of having you many times on our event, and I've introduced you myself. So you are a Dean and Director of School of Allied Health Sciences, Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation, DU. Hails from a beautiful temple city of Kanchipuram in India and has acquired the following qualifications starting from BDS, MBA, MPH, MPhil, PhD, Doctor in Literature, Doctor of Science, administering nearing 20 UG and 11 PG courses in Allied Health Sciences and 3 different campuses in Salem, Puducherry, and Karaikal. With rich 25 years of experience, including academics, he has published 25 research papers and articles. You've been invited in as a guest speakers and panelists in around more than 30 plus international and national events. You are been awarded with many recognitions, and you are a very dynamic and versatile person having a quest for knowledge and continuously marching towards this success. Happy to have you in today's forum, Sandil sir. The next speaker for the day is Dr. Vijay Pandyaji. He is the CEO of CU Shah Medical College, one of a very nice college and a hospital in Gujarat. He is a healthcare management professional with a rich 17 years of diversified experience in healthcare. Dr. Vijay is a national award winner in healthcare quality, NABH assessor. He has a proven ability to implement new systems and improve existing healthcare and social environment. Dr. Pandya is a decisive leader in excellent ability to interact with different people simultaneously under difficult situations. Some of the core skill area includes hospital administration, healthcare promotion and business development, capacity building and development of healthcare HR, hospital branding, marketing, NABH accreditation support, etc. So we are so glad and honored to have Dr. Vijay Pandya in this panel discussion. Thank you so much for joining us. So with this, now we'll move ahead by an opening remark from our eminent speakers. Rajita ma'am, you are an author, you are an educator, a global thought leader. And first of all, Jai Gurudev to you, ma'am. My daughter Anusha Anand, 10 years old, is again a student of Shri Ravi Shankar School in Pune. After a huge research, we finally decided that this is the right school for my kid, and she's doing tremendously well. Starting her day with the yoga meditation, because of her lifestyle, our lifestyle is also some way improving a lot. So thank you so much for imparting that knowledge, not only to your students, but via your students to the parents as well. For your opening remarks, ma'am.
Yes, Chandan Anandji, thank you very much for firstly curating this very important platform in the day and time that we are to talk about health and wellness. I think is the most important thing. The pandemic has shown that to us, if it did not need to be proven anymore. And I was listening to your comments on the earlier panel that how carefully you curate all the panels with a lot of research. So congratulations on that. All your events are always extremely well structured, and it is great to hear some very, very inspiring people, experts of their fields in this in your events. So the discussion that we are supposed to have today, and you had shared with us some questions also for our remarks. I am not a doctor by profession, though I am managing 2 hospitals, and therefore stay guided by the medical experts who are leading that. But I will make a few comments about our approach to health and wellness. Puja Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankarji's vision for health, it is not just a mere absence of disease, but a dynamic expression of life. So when we talk about health, it is not just that we don't have this or that disease, but how dynamically we are able to express our life in a holistic sense. I'm delighted to hear that your daughter is in our school and is practicing meditation and yoga every day. And that has been our approach as well. I can say in Shri Shri University, we recently 2 years ago only started our Ayurveda hospital. And we started our hospital, and within 1 week, the very, very terrible cyclone Fani hit Odisha. And, it is a new hospital. You want to start it with a certain idea in mind. And within a week, it became a disaster relief setup than giving curative and other kind of medical care. And about 50,000 people we treated in a very short span of about a month and a half. That was the massive impact of Fani. And as that was settling down, within a few months, the COVID pandemic hit us. So with that, we became a COVID care center. And in this period, we were a designated COVID care center for the government of Odisha. And what we saw, Chandanji, in this time is because we are an Ayurvedic hospital, so we have basic intensive care facilities like ventilators and the like. But we saw that 100% of the patients who came to us were able to be cured without the need for a additional sort of higher assisted medical care, which becomes available from an allopathic hospital. And all of that happened with the help of Ayurvedic medicines, with the help of a proper nutritious attention to the nutrition and the food. Your earlier panel comments were being made about the importance of food. So food was given attention, Ayurvedic medicine, meditation, yoga, pranayam, Surya Namaskar. Chandanji, with all the, with all their COVID situation, our people were guiding, and the doctors were guiding, volunteers were guiding, all the patients were doing Surya Namaskar. And the power of chanting, power of meditation and chanting, listening to our traditional chants like Vishnu Sahasranama, Devi Kavacham. So a combination of all of this, and a positive atmosphere of good energy, also being cared for by doctors and nurses and volunteers who themselves are meditators. I think it created such a positive force, both in our hospital in Bangalore, our Ayurveda hospital in Bangalore, and in our campus in the university. We found that this approach was helpful, and we had 100% recovery. One of your earlier speakers was talking about the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the longest nerve in our body, and it is the nerve which is the most influential and impactful to create a sense of wellness. And when you meditate, when you do pranayama, you are impacting all the alpha, beta, gamma, all nerves in theta, all nerves in the brain, which then also have that impact on the vagus nerve. So by practice, we have realized that this was working. In Sri Sri University, we are attempting to create a one of its kind integrative medical facility. We are the first university in Asia to start a school of osteopathy, which is a very well-known medical stream in the west of the world. All the prominent doctors who are there here now will know it. So osteopathy, yoga, naturopathy, Ayurveda, and then of course allopathy. So common diagnostics with the freedom for the patients, with the freedom for the individuals to choose, what is their preferred choice of medicine and what is necessary for that time. I mean, if you break your hand, you need to fix it by a surgery, but there are certain other things which can be fixed by lifestyle. And a lot of research we are doing. We are a young medical facility wise, we are young in Sri Sri University, as I said, just 2.5 years old, and we have already begun a lot of research on Ayurveda. A lot of clinical trials are being done on Kabasur Kudineer, on our own formulation NOC19. I know my friend and younger brother Arvind we spoke in the event today. Our own Ayurveda facility of Sri Sri Tattva is doing a lot of clinical trials. So I think for educational institutions like us, it is important to keep offering to students educational programs which may be niche, which is what we did with osteopathy. It took us 4 years to launch the program because nobody knew who would give us the permission. There was no precedence, but we are committed to bringing education programs which are niche and cutting edge at the same time, and continue to look at holistic health, which has focus on physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of our health. And we are doing that in Sri Sri University. I would love to welcome all of you. Next time you can do your conference in person in our campus. And I'm happy to share more and take more questions. I will pause here.
Lovely, ma'am. Thank you so much for that opening remark. Now, may I please invite Colonel Dr. Sunil Kumar Raoji for your opening remarks, sir.
Good evening to all of you. Let me start with thanking ArdorComm Communication Media Group, Itisha ma'am, and also Upasana ma'am, who have given me this opportunity to participate in this panel discussion. Essentially, my background is purely allopathic background, and this is I am the CEO of two big institutes. One is a medical college and a hospital of 1,000 beds, which is located in Ahmedabad, and also another cancer research institute, which is again a state nodal research institute, as well as state nodal agency for cancer registry also, and cancer registry for entire Gujarat state. And that is how we collect data from all other institutes who are participating. It's also part of National Cancer Grid also. So that is how we are involved in many of the research activities, which today's topic is also all about. And also the activities of a medical college in which we are engaged in teaching practices. So from that point of view also, I would like to comment that definitely during COVID, all of us are aware that whether it was first wave, second wave, and a smaller third wave, we were all engaged in by force, I would say, through digital activities, and digital technology helped us in conducting our businesses in terms of the education, in terms of the research. So first comment would be on the research aspect, that is the clinical trials which all of us participate, especially being a cancer institute. We have plenty of research trials, clinical trials going on. And all of us are aware that in the field of skin, in the field of cancer, in the field of respiratory medicine, in the field of all these internal medicine, and all these branches do have some amount of research, active research going on in the field of clinical trials. And many trials, as all of us again are aware that it is our country is the second largest clinical trial country in terms of clinical trials worldwide. And that is how we keep on getting it. But it requires a very conducive environment. And that is what we lost during COVID. And for that, the technology started helping us. In the first wave, let me be very frank, we were totally taken by surprise. Nothing moved. We just kept quiet. No research, nothing, just keep quiet and treat your patients of COVID. We treated around 7,500 patients of COVID during these two waves. In total, helped the municipal corporation to build a massive reserve for COVID, and also with the help of my parent company, that is Zydus. Also, we could help a lot of patients with the very cheap medicines, especially for COVID. So in that moment, I would like to highlight that we lost tempo onto the clinical trials. We lost tempo on various things, but definitely technology helped us there, started helping us. It was hit and trial in the first wave, but in the second wave, it firmly got adopted to do telemedicine. First of all, teleconsultations. Secondly, all the data was digitized per force, because for clinical trials, whatever data is needed, that definitely needed to be seen by the monitors, by the project in charges, as well as PIs. And all these data was seen through, of course, the digital media only. And also we could communicate with our patients on various forums like this, Zoom or any other panel. We also had very great help from various international universities in terms of research platforms. Like one of the examples which was very popular in Pune also, that is I2B2 platform, which helped us garner a lot of data on COVID, and we could do fair amount of research publications based on that, whether it was in the field of anesthesia, whether it was in the field of skin, whether it was in the field of cancer as such, and its impact, COVID's impact on cancer, etc. So all that was helped through the research platforms, and we are in touch with various international forums also on online research also. Unfortunately, e-consent and all are still not valid, in the sense that though audio video consents are applicable, but the e-consent was still not there. Though 2019 regulations of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, which changed the way we do research in our country, but still this aspect is still lacking. I would definitely recommend through the panel, through this medium of this panel, that that also should be included like Western countries, so that it is helpful for the patients, more patients to participate in the trials, especially in terms of epidemics which come and people hesitate to come to the hospitals. So that is one big thing. But definitely the electronic records helped us a lot in terms of putting data onto to the portals, putting data onto the research field, and putting data for day-to-day communication with the patients. So that's where I will hand over to the host. Thank you.
We'll come back to you, sir, for a more detailed and discussion. It is just an opening remarks. I would like to start with all the panelists first. May I please invite again now Dr. Salihankarji, the Vice Chancellor of D.Y. Patil University, Ambi campus, ma'am, for your opening remarks.
Yeah, very good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for inviting us here. And this is very important topic, which is talking about healthcare in Indian continent as at large. Very well set the tone by Dr. Rachita Kulkarni, that how and why we really take care of people, especially the patient who are coming in the hospitals. Having said this, let me tell you that I'm not from the background of the medical education, but yes, we are running the hospital. Of course, along with that, we have the medical campus, which is very renowned in Mumbai, right, and doing extremely well. Along with medical education, hospital, nursing, occupational therapy, Ayurveda, dental colleges are the part of our group, which have been led by the father founder, Dr. D.Y. Patil sir, and Honorable Dr. Vijay Patil, who is the Chancellor and President of two universities in Pune and Mumbai. So if we look at it, that the topic is really interesting, and I look forward to have interaction with all the experts, those who are daily dealing with all these, the technology, especially with the patient services. I would like to share more of my information on the part of technology, that how it is creating an impact on our medical education and even other students. Gone are the days where, because when we look at it, if we are going on online buying as a customer, things have been changed now, and e-learning, data analytics are being now becoming the part of our daily life. And of course, medical education is also not far of it, and it is a part of it and doing it extremely well. So when we look at it, that how are we going, how are we doing it? You know, when we're talking about moving from knowledge acquisition to more towards the developing competencies for our students. You know, so I think that's we are going to understand how we all are doing it. Not only that, the digital natives which we are talking about, the next generation of learners. This is what phrase is being used by a thinker. You know, so how medical education or medical the different verticals which are there are utilizing, exploring the best possibilities. You know, I think that is very important. So what is their approaches to this? How we as management experts or management team at top level are taking the decision in terms of changing the completely, because if we look at it, medicine is this field is experiencing that the use of technology is very important, and it's important for delivery of care. So how are we going to do that, right? I think this is very, very important, and that I think I'll be sharing this. And while doing this, how this technology is helping us for knowledge acquisition, improving the decision-making processes when it comes to the data sciences or the various data tools which we are using, how we are enhancing the perceptual variations which are there, improving different skills which are required for the coordination, right? Or practicing for the rare or critical events which are happening. During the COVID, we were the center which was been given to us, COVID center by PMC in Mumbai, and daily we had those kind of experiences, and where the critical issues were being handled by the team, you know. And then how, while doing this, how teams are being trained, how are they learning, you know. So all these part, and of course the one of the very core area which has been talked by earlier the panel members, and the Dr. Rajita ma'am also started with that. How are we going to take care of our own COVID warriors? Rather than COVID warriors, I think they're daily taking care of many, many responsibilities and stress which is coming on them. So I think all this is required to be addressed, and how these technologies are going to help us. I think I would like to share more on this, and that will help me also to understand the other my co-panelists, what they are bringing the experiences on the table, and at the same time how I'm going to learn from their experiences. So let's they look forward to have more discussions in this area. Thank you so much.
Lovely, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite Dr. B. Senthil Kumar, Dean and Director, Health Sciences, Vinayaka Mission Research Foundation, Deemed to be University, Salim, Tamil Nadu. Over to you, sir.
First of all, let me thank Mrs. Chandanji and Itisha for inviting me for this wonderful forum. I think I'm I have a privilege to speak in this forum because, I know Chandanji very well for the past so many years. I've been associated with them as speakers, and even I met him in Delhi also when the new normal education took place in Radisson. So it's a wonderful conference. I thought now soon you'll meet in offline mode rather than in online mode. Let me talk about this e-learning role of medical institute in e-learning and R&D or clinical trials. Everybody talk about the COVID-19 pandemic and the way the disruption caused in medical education and healthcare systems worldwide. There's no way a unilateral approach to mitigate education disruption is going to address the complex set of issues in multiple dimensions. The digital education has boomed in and created a positive impact in continuing education. Why I'm talking about this digital education? Because being in a Vinaya Mission Research Foundation, 23 institutions across South India. We have a medical, dental, nursing, pharmacy, homeopathy, and allied health sciences. That I would like to speak about digital education. So digital education has boomed in and created a positive impact in continuing education. The penetration of digital technologies in the educational field is bringing radical changes in the way of education is being delivered and received. The outreach of education program is improving day by day with the digitalization of education. Digital learning in India is going to be the key phase of future education in the subcontinent. But it's quite surprising to see how smart technologies are changing the overall educational framework in the country. Maybe another proposed method also there in digital education, maybe to tackle the challenges pertaining to medical education in the use of telemedicine, as said by Kalner, which has been around for several decades. In contrast to in-person clinical visit, telemedicine involves a virtual visit. It can play a major role in teaching medical students and helping them to gain some clinical experience by interacting with the real patients under the supervision of physicians. However, there is a great concern about how e-learning could be applied to provide clinical experience, especially in the final year of medical school, which depends on heavily on bedside teaching. And maybe in forthcoming session, I would like to speak about his R&D and clinical trials. Over to you, Chandra.
Thank you for your opening remarks, Sahil sir. May I please invite Dr. Vijay Pandyaji, the CEO of CU Shah Medical College, Surendranagar, Gujarat, sir. Over to you. Please unmute and speak, sir. Kindly unmute, sir. Unmute yourself. Yeah.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Anandji, for inviting me. I am being the most junior of this panel, and I will be humbly putting my thoughts and experiences on the various topics given by you. Particularly, the new normal word is now becoming normal, as we are not expecting the fourth wave, and we are getting the same thing in normal way. As far as COVID wave and pandemic was concerned, that was, I think, eye-opener for whole community, whole human being, whole mankind. Particularly when everything was not working at that time, social, mental, spiritual, and all those words, psychology, meditation, all words are emerged. So I will be talking something about all these topics. I am very sad to share news from Gujarat with all of you that in last 3 days, in last 2 days, 3 medical students, two medical students from UG, and one was senior resident, who was a senior resident in general medicine. Has committed suicide. Unfortunately, highly unfortunate incident where we are talking about mental and spiritual health, who are our healthcare providers are also not fit for a provision of healthcare. So I will be throwing some light on all those things. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Definitely, such kind of session helps us to understand. And if they are not able to join live, we'll be having the live recording of this session, sir. You will definitely pass this recording session to them so that they could get the thing which they have missed, and something could be beneficial for them. In fact, we had Yog Guruji. He was a renowned Yog Guru, and he's been having a lot of world followers. He was there as our one of the speakers in yesterday's forum. If you can hear to that session as well, many good life lessons he has shared with us. So I was very impressed with that session. You can go and check that. Great, sir. So with this, Rajita ma'am, I would like to ask you a question. Role of healthcare institution in imparting social, mental, and emotional well-being, ma'am.
Yes, this is a very important discussion, Chandanji, and this one question only we can talk for a whole day on what we can do. And so many experienced doctors are there, Dr. Pandya, Dr. Sunil Kumar Rao, and Dr. Sendil Kumar, who are medical professionals. Like Dr. Saili ma'am said, she and I are coming more from the administration side, managing hospitals. But I can tell you this one aspect, this question you asked, I will share our small experience. All have so much more. So in this last 2.5 years, especially since our Ayurveda hospital started in our university, as I said, Fani hit us. And I cannot tell you, Chandanji, I was there physically on the campus. We are just from Bhubaneswar airport, we are about 45 minutes drive. So it's not like we are out in the wilderness, in the interiors anywhere, but we are surrounded by a, huge area, which is a rural area, which is still deprived of healthcare is what I thought. But to what level? It was very, very shocking. The kind of people who were coming, they were not only coming because Fani caused a lot of physical damage, physical, kisi ko chot laga, bruise laga, wo sab to tha hi. But when we were treating them for that, we realized how many more problems there were. So what we have now done is we have adopted is a very strong word. I would humbly say identified about 90 villages in our surrounding. And now we have a team. The whole effort of this is to do holistic healthcare for people of these 90 villages. You can say about 4-5 lakh people are there in these 90 villages, and doing regular health camps, doing basic hygiene camps, doing, de-addiction camps, because addiction is such a big problem. And now then with this COVID situation, all other challenges have happened. So to answer your question, what is the role of institutions? It is a very large role because, of course, we have to be financially sustainable as institutions. We need to make sure that we are able to manage our own balance sheets. But, we cannot be prosperous if there is no prosperity and peace in our surrounding. And I think we owe that responsibility to our communities. So we are, in terms of Shishi University and our hospital, and in terms of Art of Living as a whole, playing a large role about the overall role Art of Living is playing in, especially during the pandemic. Almost 7 crore meals we reached out to the midday laborer, the daily wage laborers who were walking thousands of kilometers to reach their homes. And all our institutions, we treat them as the nucleus of the community, and we treat them as an institution who needs to take the responsibility of the community. Again, physical, mental, spiritual, economic responsibility, social responsibility. So we are doing that, and our experience is that it creates so much goodwill. Dr. Pandya will agree with me. He has brought about this very challenging situation, which is mental health care in our medical, students and medical, last 10, 12 days, I was personally involved in this entire effort of evacuation of our medical students from Ukraine. I must admit to all this, my senior colleagues here, that I really didn't know we had 20,000 students studying medicine alone in Ukraine. And I was talking to a lot of them who were getting evacuated, and I realized that most of them didn't go there out of choice. They went there because either they didn't get a seat here, 98% marks milke bhi seat nahi mila, or they went because of the very, very exorbitant cost of health, medical education. So when you talk about, Chandanji, the community, I want you to expand that definition to even this. Our own students as our stakeholders are our community first. So what we need to do to expand capacity, because that also is a service. Even if we expand capacity, like we now have started our Ayurveda college, we got a 60 seat permission. My question is, why don't we get 600 or 6,000 seat permission so that we can cater to the needs? Because that is our first responsibility. And secondly, to give, to reach out to the community, to become the, जैसे हिंदी में हम कहते हैं, हम उनकी धरोहर बन जाए, हम उनके लिए एक न्यूक्लियस बन जाए जहां वो आके ले सके हमसे affordable healthcare. So we are doing that, and I think it is each of our responsibility. I know Sahili ma'am's efforts. We are closely associated in many platforms. Their institution is doing a lot of work, but I think here government is doing what it is doing, but each of us as institutions, if we reach, it is both ways. It comes top down, and we need to do it bottom up. I think that's the only way to make our country this really $5 trillion economy that our honorable Prime Minister wants, and a healthy economy. This point which sir raised about the suicides, this pandemic has made it terrible. This morning I was speaking in a counseling conference, and in US alone 83% Chandanji students are reporting depression. In India, the latest Asian Journal of Psychiatry research says 53% of our students have mild to severe symptoms of depression. That means every one of two students. So we need to do a lot for mental health. I would really sincerely urge through this platform to everybody who is listening, make meditation a part of your daily living on campuses. Help students do yoga, create an ecosystem for that. This has helped us, Chandanji, in de-addiction also. Itne addiction ke cases hain, daily laborers hain, 100 रुपए कमाते 80 रुपए खा जाते हैं इसी में. So there is no way to tell and say stop it. If they could, they would. The only way to de-addict them is also through some of these practices like Surya Namaskar, do yoga, pranayam. Andar se itna bhar do ki you don't feel the need for these artificial artificial external things. So a combination of this is needed, and we are very thanks to Gurudev's overall emphasis on service to the world. We have a very strong DNA of service, and we have a very strong awareness and recognition of our responsibility to our community. Of course, what we are doing is a drop in the ocean, so much more to be done, but happy to share more in detail, parallelly, bilaterally also with those who want to know.
Lovely, ma'am. Thank you so much. I think somewhat it has answered Dr. Vijaya's concern, but we have to, ma'am. In fact, we being socially responsible, every human being or individual has to bring certain discipline in his daily life, starting from the time he wakes up to the time he goes to bed. So a certain discipline should be there from his daily habits, including the eating habits, which you rightly said. So yeah. So with this, Dr. Colonel Sunil Rao, sir, I would like to have a different stream and different angle for understanding your experience. I would like to know more about how is technology playing an important role in digitalizing clinical or non-clinical trials, sir?
Yeah. So in the introduction itself, I had covered some of it. Some of the things which you are wanting to know about digitization in clinical trials. So it is at a very preliminary stage, I would say, in our country. It has not reached the stage which other Western countries have reached. notwithstanding that, as I said earlier, that we are the second highest clinical trial we are having in our country vis-a-vis other countries. That is merely because of for various drugs and trials are needed for the population of our size, such a big population which we have. So the reason why digitization has not taken place to that great extent is because of the ethical aspects, which everybody else is discussing about ethical aspects and welfare and of the human beings, etc. Because of the poor population and vulnerable population. So most of the digitization is done on trust. So that trust factor to develop in India would take a long time. Notwithstanding that, during the COVID times, we have all done the trials based on many of the digital technologies, whether those are IoT based devices, whether those are based on electronic medical records, whether those are plain simple scanned and digitized records which were uploaded and checked by the monitors and checked by the project in charges, and various other formalities which needed in a particular trial to be checked were checked from home only, because many of them were not able to come. Even the workers were not able to come. So these things have happened through digital medium only. But still, as I said, even in the hospitals, when we treat patients, we need a physical consent. Still, we haven't got over that phenomena of digitizing these consents also. I think only time will be the solution for this aspect. But consent for every single thing, any procedure, as well as any aspect of research, whether those are side effects or those are effects per se of a particular trial, need to be covered through the consent, and all the adverse events need to be covered. In Western countries, even adverse events and many other events are reported online, and those are tackled online, analyzed online. India has already started in the same process. One of the centers is also my medical college all over India. That is a material vigilance program, as well as drugs related all adverse events reporting phenomena, which is again a vigilance required throughout the country. We are part of that. However, it is again, as I said, in very nascent stage. Lot of understanding of the physicians, lot of understanding of clinicians is required to be built up on this aspect. Same is true about the digitization also. So that is my opinion and reply to your question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to ask Dr. Salihankarji, understanding your expertise, are Indian institutions well equipped with e-learning equipment and data analytics to ensure knowledge exchange with global healthcare institutions?
Thank you, Chandanji. It's a really interesting session. I would like to divide this the sharing in two parts. One, what we are doing at DY Patil universities, because if you know it, we have 6 universities in Maharashtra, and all of them are in medical education. And if you look at it, in the Nerul campus at Mumbai, we have our medical simulation laboratory. This is a first kind of it in South Asia, which has been, and it's a CAE Luna. That is what we have taken help and we launched it. And this medical simulation is really interesting because it gives a wonderful experience to the students. And now we are using it not only for the medical student, but for nursing, for dentistry, and even for our School of Pharmacy, which is there, right? And these 2 schools, which are doing extremely well, are learning on this. So what this simulation is? The simulation is very interesting, right? We have patient mannequins, we have surgical simulators, we have diagnostic ultrasound simulation also with the help of augmented reality. So this is training the medical students and our professionals. We have opened it for many medical colleges, and they are in touch with us. We are sharing our facility and resources. We conduct training programs for all of them, and more than 1,000 students, undergraduate and postgraduate students, are trained through this laboratory training, and which is really interesting, right? So if you look at it with the help of these AI and VR, a student can understand how the processes are, right? And not only that, it's very interesting that one can see, right? So the how heart looks inside, how the in the gynecology department, when the female patient comes and for the delivery, and what kind of problems she faces, and doctor can tap, doctor can say that push, right? So, and even they can look at the eyes. So eyes are dropping down. A complete simulation has been created. It's a wonderful experience for the doctors, right? In trauma center also, if you go, you can see that the person's the leg is cut and now the wound it's bleeding, right? And the TV or the monitor shows you all that information, that how one can really now look at it and what are the changes are happening and how BP is dropping down. I think this is something, a very unique experience which our students and medical professionals are getting. And I think that's the investment now what the private institutions and medical colleges are doing. I think the time has come where we need to really move towards the use of technology, right? And thank you to the scientists and thinkers. These all are taking great amount of effort to create such simulations, right? In management also, as the rightly said, that we have data analytics, right? So that data is coming, we're playing with that data. I think this is what is really required. So if you look at it, we are getting a good amount of support with the technology in terms of when I look at medical education, I think computer assisted learning is happening now. So it's so difficult for the students and faculty members, even for reading apps, right? So every day it's been said that the doctor has to read every day. So at least 2 to 3 articles they have to read. They need to keep updated themselves. And for this, I think lots of things are happening. So computer assisted learning is happening. Mobile devices, I don't need to tell you that everyone now, patient is also so smart. Apple watches are there, right? But then mobile devices with the help of iPhones and Android devices are also playing an important role. And these have become the digital assistants to for the questions and patient management to the faculty members and doctors also. Also taking treatment decisions. I think this is something amazing which is happening across the world, right? I have recently I was going to the Stanford University's website, and they said that they have the student app, which is the obtained from they have collaborated with the Apple store, and from there they can take that app, and then this app is also available. And I think this kind of education is coming up, and which we need to really look into it. They very nicely said by Dr. Rajita ma'am, yes, more than 16, 17,000 students going abroad, and now they are in a problem, and we all are, we have taken the initiative to the government, and we said that we would like to really help these students, very comfortable. But I think these kind of efforts, which are very important, and the universities are taking care of it. So I talked about yes, computer assisted learning, mobile devices, digital games are also happening for the surgical training. So if you look at it, so the surgeons are now being trained on these kind of the machines or with the help of technology. Simulations have spoke about you. I have shared that information. Wonderful simulation. I'll request all these my co-colleagues to please let me know if you'd like to come and see, or maybe you can send your doctors to our campus, and we can really talk to them. We can give them the real life experience that how this medical simulation is functioning so effectively. I think this is e-learning, of course, is one of the way which is creating an impact, and students are learning on that. In case of operation theaters, we know it very well that we have done the collaboration with the international hospitals or international the experts right? And we are taking their help to, even while the surgeries are going on. I have visited AIMS in Pune, and they said that inside we have all those classrooms and operation theaters, which are very well connected, and they are having the live sessions and live surgeries. I think this is the new way of learning, which is happening in medical education also. So I think this is, and that's why I think we all need to understand that the medical education is changing, influenced with the various the factors which Ranjita ma'am has also talked about. Dr. Pandya also said the same thing, that yes, we need to really look at it very seriously in terms of physical, the health or the fitness, mental health, and of course the spiritual thinking process is to be elevated across the profession, and we have to do it. So in terms of healthcare environment, changing role of the physician, I think the, even if we look at it, the societal expectations are also changing, and those are altered. So we need to address those with the help of the technology part of it. And I think if we start doing it, and when once we do it, because I think what we do is that we do the analysis of the complete business environment, and which talks about what changes. It talks about economical changes, technological changes. It talks about international happenings which are happening, right? And all this we take this data is being used for our making our own strategy. So gone are the days where we were talking about typical hospital, where you have a typical processes which have been conducted. Now I think we need to change the game of the complete medical profession with the help of all these technologies. Not only with the help of technology, but even our pedagogical techniques are required to be changed. So what we were talking about, the inputs which are required, or the use of technology to be taken care of. So I think if we really look at it and connect with our all stakeholders, including patient and our own medical practitioners across the in the India, or even the apps are available. I think service is the main, quote unquote. It's the main thing which is very important in medical the profession, and that is required to be addressed very effectively, so that the Indian the patient or Indian customer can rely on it. And of course, once we do it very effectively, I'm sure that medical tourism can happen very effectively. But I think this can be addressed very effectively with the help of technology. We need to change our approaches in terms of thinking and developing skills and competencies with our doctors and professionals, so that they can deliver this, right? And this e-learning technology, apps, wearable apps, all this will bring wonderful experience to the people. So if we look at it, so transformation has to be there in the medical field, right? And once we really are ready with this information, and then I think we can really prepare ourselves for the creating future doctors, so that they can have the more of standardization of competencies, which I always talk about it. So we have to have the doctors with the good learning outcomes, right? Where we have to have the syllabus, which is using the integration of typical, of course, the formal knowledge, clinical experiences, patient-centered care, how one can do it, right? How can we talk about or address the population health is also required to be addressed effectively. Very nicely said by Dr. Kulkarni that the consciousness, or how we can really look at it, because being a banker, she said about this particular, that how can we really talk about retaining people in our own the nation, why we are allowing people to go outside. So affordability is one of the area which we need to take care of it. And if we do it, I think with the help of technology, we can add a high value, and then of course with the care, and that will really create a wonderful services through the medical profession. And this will help us to really address the various challenges and issues which are being taken care. So I think for the technological part of it, we need to work on various aspects. As I've said, that one is the knowledge acquisition, improved decision-making process, right? Enhancing perceptual variations which are happening, improving our skill coordination, right? And of course, providing the educational environment where it engages the learner and allows that, yes, the learning does not happen with the typical endanger with the patient. But I think that if we start working on it, it will be a great the benefit to everyone. So computer technologies will help and develop. See, why should we go for the technology? I think we need to now think about that the core areas are required to be with us, and those which are not important can be the outsourced. This is what we always talk about. So our typical the time which goes in managing people or making decision can be eased out with the help of technology, and that can really give the edge over and definitely a great service to our patient. And I think the this particular approach can definitely help all of us. So this is, I would like to share it on the on especially for the part of use of technology in our medical education. And as I've said that our medical simulation is one of the best one, which I'll request all my co-colleagues to visit, and you can see that how we are doing it. It's really wonderful, right? And including orthopedic surgeries are also there. So I think this is something different. One can go inside and can see that with the effect of VR. So we need to explore all these possible things, and
I can vouch for it. It is one of the best centers. Yeah.
Yes,
One
and
of the best centers in India, along with MS Ramaya also. MS Ramaya has also developed a good center.
yes,
Brought the students there. Yeah.
very true. So that's what I said. I because when I took over the position as a vice chancellor and when I visited the center, I was so happy to say that this is the investment, for the next 5-10 years, where you can see what is happening. So I think thank you so much for allowing me to speak on this particular part of it. Thank you, Mr. Chandrananan. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, in fact, I really appreciate the work which your university is doing and the way these simulation centers and laboratories are open for rest of the people to actually come and experience and understand. If they are not in a position to, have their own setup, why not established organizations like yours support the needy people who are definitely looking an eye. So and the way ma'am also said, Rajita Kulkarni ji, we have so much of our brains, Indian brains, going international. Do we have any limitation in India? Like, we have so much of resources, we are full of equipments, we have so good brains in India as well. We just need a proper framework supported with the apex body or the regulatory bodies who should act as a facilitator, and maybe a PPP model could help us extend to a different level. How much a private university or a deemed university can do alone? We definitely need that kind of partnership, a recommendation, a recognition, because they need to certify us to extend it to a different level. So yes, definitely that opens door for that kind of observation. I would like to ask Mr. Sendil Kumar sir, from you, I would like to understand how institutions, equipped in R&D, and or how important the role of say R&D towards a futuristic healthcare model.
Yeah, the future of healthcare includes technology that combines data on patient medical history, real-time health, insurance coverage, and financial informations, all to support provider decision-making and improve the patient health and reduce cost. So this is a focus area, the future of healthcare. So at this point of time, most of our institutions are not well equipped in terms of R&D. Current issues facing the research in higher education institutions, including quality, relevance, ownership, funding, and international networking also. So we need to focus on probably I would like to mention a few things here. We need to develop conducive policies and procedures for research in universities, providing the necessary infrastructure. As you said, even the funding should come from the government side also, and training, retaining, and attracting highly skilled human capital, increase investment in research and higher education, and finally, the commercialization of research. The research should be closely linked to teaching and learning. We need to develop a framework for combining the strength of university laboratories and other scientific laboratories for undergraduate and postgraduate science education. My thing is like, in the industry, institution, society interface to be strengthened for research and development. And coming back to the previous question, I would like to put one information apart from the madam says, like, the simulation. In India, even the University Grants Commission is now recognizing open online courses. In fact, in January last year, the government mandated 15% of Indian universities must deliver online degree courses. You know that India is one of the fastest growing online education market, and over the next 2 years should touch US dollar 1.96 billion. Because the rapidly growing number of Indians on mobile digital tools, internet usage in India seems to be driven by rural internet growth. Usage is touching 566 million people. By the between among the global institution. Over to you, Chandra.
Yes. Thanks, NLG. So I guess we are just exceeding 15 minutes to the final session. So maybe next important and most awaited moment is just about to start. But before it, I would definitely have one question to be asked from Dr. Vijay Pandyaji, sir. A role of, again, in healthcare institution, Vijayji, if you would like to highlight into the same lines, role of healthcare institution in imparting social, mental, and emotional well-being. What do you want to say on this?
I will take just two or 3 minutes more,
please,
because I personally believe that only and only medical students and doctors can be brand ambassadors for this particular topic of spiritual and mental and psychological and social well-being. None other than doctors and medical students. So, and Medical Council of India and National Medical Council has already taken all these points very seriously before 4 or 5 years. They have each and every point that's called revised competency-based course. That includes attitude classes, that includes ethics classes, that includes communication skills, soft skills classes, yoga classes, meditation and sports. In fact, first month of whole MBBS course is celebrated as foundation course. Is taught all these topics are covered under this month, and we teach our students about ethics, about attitude, about yoga, meditation, sports, and everything. So that is a good practice which is already started. As far as holistic approach is concerned, integration of allopathy and all other alternative therapies is concerned, we have already started Ayurvedic OPDs in allopathic hospitals, homeopathic OPDs in prominent places in our OPDs. And whenever our students and doctors go to medical camps and in community health work, they also speak about psychotherapies and diet therapies and homeopathy and Ayurvedic therapies. I can also say that we insist our orthopedic doctors to write prescription of write physiotherapy in its precision. We request our psychiatrists to write psychotherapy counseling in his precision. When I mean to say, जब हम इस मोड पे जाएंगे, इंटीग्रेशन जब इस लेवल पे जाएगा, तब इन रियल मीनिंग में इंटीग्रेशन होगा अल्टरनेटिव थेरापीज का और एलोपैथी का, जो मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंटली अभी रिक्वायर्ड है. Last but not least, spirituality is the key. We invite spiritual leaders from Brahma Kumaris, from Sri Sri, from BAPS, Eminent and staff during this foundation course, and also during refresher workshops and that kind of things for medical students as well as faculties. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that closing remarks on the spirituality, and I can very well judge the kind of how passionate are you in preaching this. So so with this, now we come to an end of this session. And let me do the honors. We would like to, as a RadioCom Media, as I told that we are an emerging media company, and we want to become the media voice of the community, not only in healthcare and wellness, but into education, in human resource, media entertainment, and art and governance. So this is what ArdorComm Media has been doing since the time we got ventured at the time when the second wave of COVID was there, and when organizations was closing down, when there was a job loss, we, the founders of ArdorComm Media, we united together and we fought for a social cause, and then we opened this show-caused organization where Ardor again stands for aspiration, reimagination, digitalization, opportunity, readiness, abbreviated as Ardor, and community and communication means com. So that is how ArdorComm united, and from then the journey of social entrepreneur started. And our media team is very passionate about putting in efforts in co-creating the positive change in the society by inviting the community leaders like you and co-create such knowledge sharing platform. I would encourage and would ask and appeal to the stakeholders who are listening us. If you have done any tremendous and extraordinary work in your own field, if you have any launches, if you have any achievements, you do please share with our team. We will edit it, and if anything which is of the benefit of the society, we would like to publish it free of cost on our portal, and we would like to amplify it to the social media handles so that maximum people will understand the kind of good work you are doing in your respective fields. So that is the commitment from my end. We would like to be the media voice of the community, and we would like to publish all those publications, journals, or any achievements, any allocates which you have been doing in your respective field, and you want any platform to be published, that we would help you in doing this. And we would also like to become the media partners. We would like to be the community partners. If you have any small event to your campuses, or maybe a larger event to a city, a state, or a country, we can do what best we are in doing it. So we have been doing it for many years, and we would like to get associated with you in preaching your communication to the right stakeholders. We know what things to be promoted where, and we can help you in engaging with the government lobby. We can help you in engaging with the corporate lobby. So a blend of corporate, academia, government, and healthcare should definitely help in getting a better outcome of results. So this is what. So with this, may I please have the honors of felicitating you, honoring the last panel speakers for the kind of tremendous work they have been doing. So this is a small token of appreciation to like to felicitate this Professor Rajita Kulkarni under her leadership, the way she has been doing and a commendable work, being a president of university, and with the help of the foundation and Shri Ravishankarji, the good work they are doing. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us. Next, please. Token of appreciation goes to Colonel Dr. Sunil Kumar Raoji, who is the CEO of Gujarat Cancer Society. Congratulations, sir, and thank you for joining. This applaud and appreciation goes to one of my favorite speaker of this panel, Dr. Salihankarji. She's the Vice Chancellor of D.O. Patil University. And since my service in various other organizations, whenever I've been inviting her, she has been there, whether it be ILETS or ASMA or any other organization. And now I'm so proud and privileged that, ma'am, I was able to bring you in my own company, ArdorComm Media. And I would need this kind of patronage and blessings in my continued journey, which I'm going through. So thank you so much, ma'am, for supporting me. This certificate goes to Dr. B. Sendil Kumar, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your good work and your association with us. Dr. Vijay Pandya, sir, we were very proud to have you. Yeah, this was your first association, but I think there is a lot of chemistry between us.
Definitely.
Thank you, sir.